Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I was just speaking to one of my mentorship clients about. And this is a much bigger theme that plays out over the course of people's recovery journeys. But one of the things that I see pretty uniformly when people first get into recovery is they are living in a pattern, shall we say, of mood dependent behavior. That is to say, that I can reliably expect that when I meet somebody who is struggling with active addiction, they're living their life in such a way that they only do things when they feel like doing them. Most people who I encounter who are stuck in this way of being, thinking, acting are living inside of a rut. They struggle enormously with taking the right actions, even though they know when they're the right actions. They procrastinate, they get overwhelmed with stress. They have a very unhealthy relationship with uh, personal growth, work, stress, and energy management. They are living in a way where they have so thoroughly avoided doing the things that they know are the right things for them to do that they have effectively created a hell on earth that is shaped like a rut that they are now stuck in. So, one of the things that I would encourage you guys to think about, or that I wanted to make this video for you guys to think about, is this question: are you living inside of mood dependent behavior? Another way to ask this is, do you only do the right thing when you feel like doing it? Do you wait to do anything unless you feel like doing it? And do you constantly find yourself being overpowered by this resistance that says, I'm not going to do the thing until I feel like doing it? One of the things that I've learned from going to therapy myself for years, from working with people for years in a therapeutic context, and from doing a lot of psychological education and research is that this mood dependent behavior phenomenon is probably the single clearest sign that somebody's unhealed childhood trauma is currently what is running their life. Or another way to say this is that the wounded inner child is driving the bus. In these circumstances, we find ourselves living like 2-year olds in adult bodies. I don't want to eat my vegetables, mom and dad, because they taste gross and I don't feel like it. Or I don't want to change my diaper and I'm going to kick and scream even though I literally have poop in my pants. Or I don't want to take a nap or go to bed even though I'm tired. This pattern of not wanting to do something that's good for us until we feel like doing it is defining of a child's psychology. So when you find yourself in these patterns of mood dependent behavior, like I'm a full grown adult, but I'm not going to do that thing because I don't really feel like doing it. I'd like you to pause for a minute and really feel into your body and ask yourself this question: how old do I feel in this moment? And going hand in hand with that, another thing that I want to introduce to you is a sort of meditation or contemplation question that came up for me recently, which has proven to be quite powerful and that I would like to share with you because it's very related to this. And the question is this: if you could suppose for a moment, hypothetically, that you were a woman who was looking for a husband, that you were looking for a man to be the father of your children, would you want you to be the father of your kids? If the answer to that question was no, another helpful question to add on to that is, what would have to happen or what would have to change for that no to turn into a yes? And I can emphatically answer that for myself. What predominantly comes up is all of that mood dependent behavior that I'm still stuck in my own life. What came up inside of me was this intense, burning, kind of painful feeling and knowing that fear and excuses still have too much control over my life and my behavior. What immediately came up for me is all these areas in my life where I'm still living in mood dependent behavior, where how I feel is more important and has more power over me than what is right. And while this is kind of a painful thing to imagine, part of what came up for me as well was thinking through some of these situations where if this mood dependent behavior in my life continued, or if fear and excuses and some of these other emotions continued to have this sort of tyrannical power over my actions, what would that look like inside of a family, inside of a marriage, as a father? If my kids really needed help, but I was sick, would I still do the right thing, even though I was tired and I didn't feel good? If something was scary, but it was the right thing to do in terms of standing up for my wife or my children or my family, would I be able to stand up even feeling that intense fear and do the right thing anyway? Am I going to be the kind of man who lives by feeling and not by principle? And what I just said is really the key insight of everything that I wanted to communicate in this video. The defining transition from boyhood to manhood psychologically is when principle becomes more important to you and more powerful in your life than feelings. We have to be able to do the right thing even when we don't feel like doing it, especially when doing the right thing doesn't feel good to do. And this is something that I believe to be fundamentally true about what characterizes the difference between boys and men and what the journey from boyhood into manhood looks like. Absolutely nobody can respect you. And I use that word can very intentionally. Nobody can respect you. Not other people, not other men, not women who may otherwise have been interested in dating you. Nobody can respect you as long as your feelings have more power in your life than your principles. And so I would invite you to look around your life and perhaps asking any kind of variation of this question to similar effect. What kinds of things came up for you? What shortcomings immediately bubbled to the surface? What areas in your life do you know by your own conscious, your own values, your own standards? Are you not doing the thing that you know is the right thing to do simply because you don't feel like doing it? Where are you waiting for the right feelings to give you permission to do what you know is right? One of the principles of recovery that I teach my clients, and something that you will come to know for yourself should you follow through on really trying to make a change in this area of your life, is that right feelings do not precede right action. Right feelings follow right action. Doing the right thing, even when you don't feel like it, is the thing that will give you the good feelings that you're looking for. Said another way, the good emotions that you're looking for are on the other side of the actions that you're not taking. Moving beyond this mood dependent behavior into a state of being where we are capable and able to do the right thing even when we don't feel like doing it is something that I see as defining of the early part of recovery from something like pornography addiction. This mood dependent behavior phenomenon seems to be one of the linchpins that keeps the cycle of pornography addiction going around and around and around. Feeling unwilling or unable to do the uncomfortable things that would save us is precisely what would keep us stuck. Feeling unwilling to invest in ourselves because it costs something, even though it would actually help us, is what keeps us stuck. And so I'll leave you with this challenge. I'd like you to lean into your conscience and to identify one thing that you have been avoiding doing, even though you know it's the right thing for you to do, because you're scared, because you're making excuses, or because for some other reason you don't feel like doing it. And if you're watching this video, I want you to stop right now and go do the thing. If you're somebody who's actively struggling with pornography and you are ready to quit for good, I would love to talk with you to see if we're a good fit to work together. And especially relating to the topic of this video, if you are somebody who knows that you need help, but you have felt afraid of getting the help that you know you need, I definitely want you to go down into the description below and book a call to talk with me. It's time to stop letting fear be the thing that keeps you back from the life you deserve. I hope you got some value from this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.